Hello YouTube artist, I'm Kelly Hernig and welcome to In the Studio. I've been working on a secret project, shh, don't tell, and it's all about this book, Nature's Palette by Patrick Beatty. I cannot wait to share what is inside of this, what it has inspired, and how I've become a little bit obsessed with birds. It's going to be a good one. I wanted to show you a different side of me and how much I love nature. I bought this book in 2021 and it is a fabulous book, but I do have a couple complaints. The reference material is so beautiful. There is color, there's artwork, and there's just so much to explore. But my only complaint is the color pages are so small. So let's dive into this. This is Nature's Palette by Patrick Beatty. B-A-T-Y, and I'll have links for everything under this video. I wanted to just share with you, beautiful end pages. Do you see this color palette? Now, why wasn't it this full sheet? I know we are artists, but we like to see color, and we like to see color charts where we can use them. This is just so small that it is beautiful, but I wanted it to fill the whole page. Gorgeous photographs in here. Again, this is colors. I know, right? Why isn't it taking up the whole page? So that is my biggest complaint about this book, is that the pictures, the colors are so small, because I bought this thinking that it would be a great color guide, and it's helping me learn a lot about colors though, I have to say. This is a color reference system from the natural world. So that's what this book is based off of. But again, look how small they are. Don't you just want them up close and personal, right? I know I do. I want to see them up close. They talk a lot about minerals and finding color and pigments and all of that stuff, which I really find fascinating. And they have so many beautiful color photographs like this. Granted, I would rather have few and have them bigger. But again, that is me. Like, I would love having, out of all four of these, I would want this one really big, taking up the full page. I would want this one really big, taking up the full page. But I love this for showing the colors and the colors in here and how they adapt to one another and relate to one another. I love that. And because of this page right here, I was like, how can I use this book with the way that I love nature and the way I'm always in nature? How can I use it to do the things that I love, not just birds and butterflies and bark and trees and that kind of stuff, but a reference photo for myself, a reference sketchbook for myself. The pictures here, gorgeous, and I love that they have little color things here. So let me bring this up so you can see. See all the birds? Aren't they cool? But again, here's the color reference. And I think I'm just really spoiled. I want things big. So like this page, I love with the eggs. Oh my gosh, this page alone was worth the book for me because I love seeing all the different eggs and the sizes. And you can see the colors of the eggs here. I mean, talk about a beautiful color palette for eggs. The range is there, right? From white to gray to, look at those bright colors, pinks and maroons and terracottas. I just really love that. So along here as well, they have pages. It talks about color, and I love all that. Here's all the colors that it explores in the book. Again, look how tiny the squares are. And then every chapter is titled like this, and we get to see a big graphic, which I'm really excited about. So on some pages like this, there's a fold out. So if you see a sheet like this, it folds out. So then you've got white, grays, and blacks. Again, why didn't you cut some of this original page down and make them bigger? I know I sound like a broken record, but right? But I want to see the colors. But these are so inspiring to me. And I don't care that I have to look real close, but I would have liked them bigger. And then from there, it shows different things in the book and the different colors. Look how beautiful that is. So it says like greenish white, and then it tells you vent coverts of golden crested wren. And I love that. I love how they tie in the colors with the individual birds and the specific areas that are on the birds too. I really like that. Like this orange colored white is the breast of white on screech owl. And look at these little colors, little pictures. Aren't they beautiful? So I appreciate the book for this, and this alone, these 2 pages are very exciting for me because I'm like, how can I do that in my art? How can I do a sketchbook that is similar to this, exploring colors yet letting me see what they're specifically for? And I wanted to show you the blues. So the blues and purples, look at this beautiful rendering here. Again, we've got blues and purples. And then it's got all the different blues and what they're for. So this whole book is just full of photographs, and look at that. I mean, I love insects. So seeing this with this color guide is just something that can keep me busy for hours, really. But it is a gorgeous book, gorgeous little setups. The colors are amazing. I mean, if you only bought one book for a year, this book would keep you busy for many years because there is so much to look at. I mean, you see, look at all the pages here, and it's exploring, like we're in the blue section right now, blue and purple. I mean, look at some of these pictures here. Gorgeous. And this is a fat book. There are 289 pages, just full of beautiful images for you to explore and study. Oh, look at that. And they are sorted by colors, which really lets you play with a palette and figure out things. Look at that. And that is why I bought this book. So let me show you how I'm using it for myself. I have been wanting to study our birds a little closer. By that I mean, I am on a basement level of a house, so I look straight into the yard. This year, what I asked for my birthday was an inexpensive set of binoculars. So I found binoculars. I will have these listed down below in the video description. They are 20 by 50. And what I was looking for was something lightweight that I could keep down here, that I could look at the birds and study them. Now, it does not get you super close, but I am able to watch the movements. I'm able to see their faces, their eyes, their markings, and it is enough for me. I didn't want we tried some bigger ones, which were, I think it was 25 by 70, but they were like this much longer and so heavy, and they took me forever to sight. So when you sight these, you just look through here. These are covers that you just take off, and then the bottoms are covered as well, so you take those off, and then all you do is look through these, and then this little knob here, you move forward or backward to sharpen your image. That's it. With the bigger pair, I was really struggling to hold them and then fool around with this because they were so large and so heavy. So if you were looking for inexpensive binoculars, I highly recommend this set. From there, I really started observing our birds, and we have migrating birds. I live in Indiana here, near about an hour from Chicago, And so we get winter birds, we get summer birds, we get hummingbirds, we get sandhill cranes, pelicans fly over. I mean, we get a lot of traffic going through here. And I wanted to be able to capture that in my sketchbook. Now this is a drawing sketchbook, so it has drawing paper in it. I believe it is Strathmore drawing paper, but I'm finding that it is enough for me to do a light wash of watercolor. So what I'm using in here is I'm using the Faber-Castell 6-pit graphite and matte. I love the matte feeling of it. I don't like when graphite is really shiny, and I like these Faber-Castell ones. I am also using my 18 palette that you've seen me use. This is my updated 2024 palette. I will link the video down below. So I'm getting to know this in a different way, and it's really quite exciting. So let me show you what I've done so far inside the book. I've left a cover page. This page I'm going to glue the palette on there so that I remember what palette it is. This I'm going to write what book I'm referencing. And then in here I'm going to have my pencils that I'm using and any other information. So as I go along, I have deli paper stuck in between because some for the white areas, well, all I used was a Neocolor 2 crayon to fill in my white since I don't have white watercolor. And you can see here, this is a dark-eyed junco. Part of me learning the birds for what visits our yard too is I want to learn the Latin name. So this is Junco hyemalis. Hyemalis. It's important that I know those. I like to study those. So you can see here I took to drawing them. I just searched Google unless I had really good pictures of them, and I drew from the image on the screen. So I picked two of them. One I really wanted to do as a black and white study with the graphite, so I'm using the Faber-Castell on one side, and then I sketched this one out. But then for me to decide what colors they are and add to the color boxes up here, then I put a little bit of color in here. I didn't want to fully render the bird. That wasn't my intention. My intention was, remember back in that book, it said like the crested point of the screech owl, right? So this is where I've got like light feathers up here, darker feathers here. This is the feet and the beak, so you can see the feet and the beak colors, and then the eye is pure black, so I did the eye as well. It's just a reference for me, but what it's letting me do is I'm getting to play around with pencils again, which I really missed. And I like doing value studies. It's just a fun thing for me, and it's helping me draw the birds. So as I get familiar with their common name, their Latin name, and then the shape of them and the colors, it's making it stick in my brain a little bit more, and I really love that. I didn't just want to study birds, I also wanted to study some of the pods around the house. So we get all kinds of winter pods. We get milkweed. Milkweed is great for butterflies, especially swallowtails and monarchs. So the milkweed that I have is called the common milkweed, and then I've got the Latin name here. Here I've got a structure of the milkweed pod. So the pod's shaped like this. And when it busts open, one of them kind of falls away. So think of that as falling away from that. So they kind of split apart, and then they launch seeds. So the seed here is it's a big seed, and then it has like white filaments on top of it. And I wanted to show it in drawing form, but I also wanted to show it again painted with the colors. So I have winter bark and winter pods. I have inner pods, so the inside here. I have the seeds, which is this part here, and this little string here that kind of holds the seeds. And then I've got seed tops, so it's like a little more off beige, and then a little bit of white here. Let me show you that. So do you see the intricacy there of all the seeds in the middle part and getting the shadow? And then that's the color there. And then here's the seed pod. And then here's the colors. So it's allowing me to kind of concentrate on one thing at a time, but in beautiful ways. So I get to look at the value scale, I get to look at some color, I get to look at the color that I'm looking at on the actual sample, and then I get to write a little bit of information about it as well. And these are yucca pods. I love the yucca flowers. They're just starting to bloom now, so I'm going to get the flowers in here as well, but at the time I only had the yucca seed pods. And again, they kind of morph open like this and expose the seeds. That's all these little seed chambers you see here, and you can see I did a close-up here, and that's what the actual seed looks like. So again, I get to play with a value study, I get to look at how they group on a stem, and then I added a little bit of color here, and again the color is mimicked here. I've got the Latin name here, and so it's just a more cohesive study of what a yucca looks like. Here's the seed chamber and the seeds. And then here's the colors. Now, the colors of the milkweed and the yucca, remember, they are winterized, so they're just out there in the weather. So of course they're going to be gray and brown. And when I went to the antique store, I found a little box of minerals, and I love that. So I started drawing the minerals, and then I put colors according to what they were most like. Like this one is a hematite rock from Virginia. This is a siderite, and I just really liked seeing the colors of that. And I tried to draw the crystals as best as I could, which is practice for me. I don't normally draw that. So trying to figure out how you draw a crystal is kind of hard. Are you seeing, striated lines? Is it quartz so that it has, chunkier sides, or is it nice and flat, or is it smooth? Like this one is called fairy stone, and it was fairly smooth, but yet it had a lot of texture to it. It was almost like a porous rock, which I loved. And then this was a nuthatch. We have red-breasted and white-breasted here. So this is the red-breasted page, and I've got nuthatch red-breasted, which is Acidia canadiensis. That's the Latin name for it. And here he is drawn out. What I love about the nuthatches is a lot of times they hang down from the tree, and they just always crack me up. I love seeing them that they hang on so weirdly, because most birds don't. They just run, they fly onto the ground, but these go up and down the tree, running backwards and forwards, and it's just fun to watch. So here again, I did the value study with a pencil. I added some color, and then I added the color areas down here. And the white here, and in the anywhere you don't see color, that's bright white, and again it's the Neocolor crayon here. But then there is a little bit of the where the red breast bleeds into the white and creates a little color like that. Kind of indicated what feathers they were for, or what they were for. Let's turn him that way so you can see him. And I didn't do everything in color. Again, I just wanted a little bit, so think of it more like a notebook study. I didn't want him fully filled in and painted realistically. I just wanted to make a note of where the colors are. It is letting me study so much about what is in my own yard, and I truly love that. It is just something that lets me explore and be curious in a different way, yet I'm surrounded by all of these elements and I want to know more about them. And that's what this Nature's Palette book has done for me, is it's made me curious. It's made me look at what is going on in my own neighborhood and how can I make a little reference for myself. I mean, this is a giant reference guide, a system actually, and this is my idea of my system. So it's much smaller and compact, but yet for me, it does the same thing. It's giving me different ways to study, different ways to appreciate nature. I'm paying attention to pattern and form and growth. Think about the way feathers grow on a bird. They're meant to fly. So everything kind of leans back or shifts downward. Sometimes up here, like by his rump, the feathers kind of shifted up, but it's letting me pay attention to which way the feathers are facing. Just like if you do fur on an animal, sometimes coming down the face, it goes downward, but then you get to the cheeks and it kind of goes out this way, right? Or out and round. It's just another way of study, but I am really enjoying this. In next week's video, I'm going to do a full set of pages for you. We're going to do the American Robin, so stay tuned for that. If you were inspired by the Nature Palette sketchbook today, please like or comment. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on it. And if you haven't subscribed, please click the button. Thanks so much for watching.